station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
I am ready for the event.
ABC, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is ABC. How do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the space station.
Thank you very much. And Commander Scott Kelly joins us now from the International Space Station. Commander Kelly, I get to talk to people from all over the globe in this job, but I've never interviewed anyone who is 250 miles above Earth. You have really amazed us with your Instagram photographs, but I want you to put into words what it's like up there. You're the only American who's ever done this.
Well, I'm the longest serving U.S. astronaut on the space station. We've had many other crew members up here, but I've been fortunate enough, I guess, to be the longest person to spend time on this incredible space station. And it's I would say it's a privilege to do this job. A year is a really long time, and but I'm doing okay, and I have about a little less than 3 weeks to go.
And tell us your most memorable period while you've been up there. Your photographs are truly extraordinary, but is there any one day, any 1 week that really stands out from this trip?
I've been somewhat fortunate that we've had a lot of, interesting things going on. The science that we do, visiting vehicles. A lot of crew members have come and gone while I've been here. But for me, having never done a spacewalk before this flight, I was able to do 3 of those in October, November, and December. The last one being one that we put together within like about 5 or 6 days because it was a surprise. We had to go outside and fix something. And so for me, having never done that before, that is, really a pretty significant, memorable event, being outside this space station and the, just the difficulty of working in the suit and doing a spacewalk and the complexity of it, and also the view of the Earth from outside is even more incredible than it is from inside here.
Can you explain things that we'll never know, and that is smells, or what it's like to touch something in space, particularly the smell when you're out on the spacewalk?
Well, in the space suit, you're in a very enclosed environment. It's actually a very stiff suit. It's not as stiff as the Russian spacesuit, but is still pretty stiff because it provides a pressure vessel, so you don't get the bends. Or, if you were exposed in the vacuum of space, it would be, pretty catastrophic to you. But it, provides you oxygen, scrubs carbon dioxide, keeps you warm. Also has cooling and debris protection. So it's kind of like its own little spaceship. There's a lot of fan noise in there. There's air that you feel blowing over your face. But I don't think inside the suit has any particular smell, for instance, like you asked. But certainly, when you come back from a spacewalk and you repressurize the airlock, and then once you take the suit off, and this is the same case when we have a visiting vehicle, and the space between the space station and the visiting vehicle was recently exposed to vacuum. That does have a very distinct smell, and I think people, I think most people feel about it kind of the way I do. Some people have a different opinion about it. But to me, it smells like what I would imagine like burning metal to smell like is kind of how I describe it. Burning metal.
And can you demonstrate microgravity for us?
How's that?
I love it. I love it. How do you sleep without gravity? I would think because your shoulders kind of come up. I see you there holding your arms together. Is that how you sleep? It must be so different.
I don't. People, wonder why I cross my arms all the time up here. For me, it's just not comfortable like this. It feels like very awkward. But this is like the neutral positions for your arms, and so actually, when I sleep, I don't even sleep like this. I actually our sleeping bag has kind of a hood on it. I stick my hands kind of above my head in the hood. But sleeping here for me is not as nice as on Earth for a number of reasons. You don't have your head's not on a soft pillow. You're not surrounded by sheets and a comfortable blanket perhaps. But most importantly, I think it's more difficult and challenging to sleep here because the position I'm in right now is the same exact position I'm going to be in when I go to sleep. So there is no change in the level of relaxation or comfort you experience here like you do on Earth when you lie down in your bed and it's time to go to sleep. It's it's the same position whether I'm working, talking to you, or sleeping. It's the same kind of comfort levels, which makes it, for me, harder to sleep.
Okay, we know your brother, your identical twin brother, Mark Kelly, former astronaut, is sleeping comfortably here on Earth. But that's part of what's happening here. They're studying you as identical twins, one on Earth, one in space. And that leads for you hope, not just you particularly, but for NASA, for a mission to Mars.
Yeah, so like I said, we do a lot of science up here, and one of the research areas is exploration based. What do we need to learn, both about our own human physiology, but also about the hardware, the systems that are going to keep us alive, to go further away from Earth, beyond low Earth orbit, to Mars. For Mars being, one of the goals that we have, and hopefully we'll get there sometime in my lifetime. And by doing this experiment with my brother and I, because we are genetically almost identical, and NASA hasn't done any genetic DNA type research before, hopefully we can learn some things about how this environment, the radiation environment, the microgravity environment, affects us on a genetic level. And there's only two of us, so it's not an experiment like you would have if you were designing trying to develop a new drug for an illness where you need many much larger sample group. But it will hopefully provide us some anecdotal information of where we need to investigate further.
And just, I know you're coming home in a few weeks. What's the most exciting part about coming home? What are you looking forward to most?
The thing I look forward to most is people. Not that I don't like these people, but your friends, your family, people you haven't been around for a really long time. After that, I would say it's being outside, weather. This environment isn't bad, but it's the same every single day for since March. So those are the big things I'm looking forward to.
Okay, Commander Kelly, this is where I would usually sign off, but since we've never closed the program while talking to someone 250 miles above Earth, Commander Kelly, would you like to do the honors?
Sure thing, Martha. That's all for today. Thanks for sharing part of your Sunday with us. Have a great day, and so long from the International Space Station.
The best. Thank you so much. Woo, right to time.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the ABC portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from CNN.
Yes. Station, this is CNN. How do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the space station.
Commander Kelly, what a thrill it is to be speaking to you. As you travel at a rate of 5 miles per second, I understand 200 miles above us, getting close to finishing a year in space. First question, how are you doing? What has surprised you most about any changes in your health?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I do feel like I've been up here for a really long time, and I look forward to getting home soon. What surprised me from a health perspective, a lot of the research we do is imagery based. Just this morning I was doing some ultrasound exams on my eyes and my heart, and a lot of that data is stuff that'll be analyzed, by the scientists and researchers, and it'll take time, probably well after I'm back, before we have results. But from a kind of a subjective perspective, I don't really have any surprises. I, kind of knew what to expect going into this, because I had flown a long-duration flight before. So, there's been a little, effects on my vision, which I had last time. But overall, nothing alarming.
I want to ask you a different sort of question. Everyone is fascinated with space, and everyone is certainly fascinated with the views that you have. You get to look back on Earth. If Earth were a human body and you were looking at it, how does it look? Does Earth look sick? Does it look healthy? How would you describe it?
So there are definitely parts of, Asia, Central America, that when you look at them from space, you're always looking through a haze of pollution. So, but the Earth is covered by a lot of other land masses and water. It's surprising how much water is out there. So, as far as the atmosphere is concerned, and being able to see the surface, I'd say definitely those areas that I mentioned look kind of sick, like you said. You definitely notice weather systems at times that aren't really expected to be where they are. For instance, like tropical cyclones in the certain in certain parts of the world at times that you don't expect them, or other weather conditions. When you look at the the atmosphere, I wouldn't say it looks the thin veil of the atmosphere on the limb of the Earth. I wouldn't say it looks unhealthy, but it definitely looks very, very fragile, and just kind of like this thin film. So it looks like something that we definitely need to take care of.
Yeah, it looks like the Earth may need some medical care, as you say. I also wanted to ask you a question about the political cycle here, but I thought I'd do it in a slightly different way. And the way I want to do it was I wanted to ask you what you might ask our future president, our presidential candidates. We have a series of debates coming up here on CNN, and I want to give you the floor for a second, Commander, to ask a question of our next president. What would you ask?
Well, I guess as an astronaut, a NASA astronaut, I would be, I feel obligated to ask a space-related question, and just what, what their goals and their vision are for our space program. I think this, our history in space and the International Space Station and those other things we do have significant value to our economy, to who we are as a people, as a species, really. And I would want to know what their vision is for NASA and how they would plan to execute that vision.
I'm curious about your views on private space travel. There's been a lot of energy and money, frankly, around that industry lately. As someone who's done it, been up there, what do you think? Do you support it? Do you encourage it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is an amazing experience. It's a fascinating place, not only for tourism, but our ability to, like I said, this is an incredibly complex facility. And by doing really hard things, we reap the benefits. And commercial space is hard. So by developing, those rockets and the systems to have more people visit and live in space for periods of time, there will be benefits to that. And, I'd like to see, someday where, like airline travel, where not everyone could afford it, but a lot of people could afford it. So it is something that I definitely feel very strongly about, and I think it's great that we have these companies that are pursuing this, because then it lets NASA, direct their energy and focus on, the frontier, the places that we haven't been to before, because, I think those are the kind of things that the government should be involved with, and I think something that NASA does very well. So it's, I think it's commercial space is a great thing.
You may have heard today, Commander, gravitational waves have been found, proving yet another one of Einstein's theories correct. Another one of his theories has to do with the space-time continuum, which would dictate that you're actually aging more slowly than your twin brother Mark here is on Earth. Obviously, it's a minuscule difference, but I'm curious, does it feel different time-wise? Does time change for you in some way being up there?
So because we're in this environment that's like a laboratory in many ways, in some ways it's kind of like a submarine or a ship, but one in which you cannot leave, and one in which, I'm at work when I go to sleep, I'm at work when I wake up. I've been here since March. It's not like the days seem to go by slower, but definitely the whole period of time has, it seems like a long time. A year now seems longer than I thought it would be. And so I definitely have an appreciation for, certain things that freedom and, being on Earth provide. But, certainly, being confined for this period of time is not something that I think people would, it's different when you're in space and you're doing something that thinks is important. But I definitely think I would, kind of relish my freedom more after this experience, maybe than I did before.
One of the objectives for this mission, besides the twin study, was to look at how feasible a mission to Mars might be. If this were a mission to Mars, which takes 9 months or longer, you'd in fact just be getting started with that mission as opposed to getting near to the end. I'm curious, with all that you've learned, all you've seen, do you think Mars is feasible? And also, when we eventually maybe get there, do you think that there's extraterrestrial life there or other places?
Yeah, I think it's definitely feasible. I think there are certain challenges. The radiation environment between the Earth and Mars is something that we're going to have to figure out, because there is we get protection here on the space station. Although we get a lot more radiation than you do on Earth, you'd get a much more on your way to Mars. So that's a challenge. the systems, the life support systems, are on one hand a challenge, but we've been maintaining these systems here for the last 15 years now. We can get resupply quicker, but there's a lot we've learned here from operating the space station that will help us go to Mars. I think the biggest challenge, though, is the public support and the financial support from our government or other governments to do this, because I think technically, pretty much anything we've ever put our mind to, we've been able to accomplish. So I think the challenge is mostly from a public and government financial support. And as far as whether there's life there on Mars or whether there was actually ever life there, I don't know. It would be great to find out, though.
Commander Kelly, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Good luck up there. We'll talk to you soon.